Okay, so I'm not taking a presentation. I still have a choice. So what I did is I pulled a few content from the presentation and kept it into the chat box. So you can have a reference point now and in future. But quick thing, we have three things to understand on the fundamental aspect of it when we are talking about revenue. So first is revenue stream, revenue model, and business model. Okay, so primarily when you say that, hey, somebody will pay me this amount, or somebody will be my member, or somebody will give me training money. So these are revenue stream for our business. But revenue stream is all about strategy of managing a company's revenue stream and the resource relevant to it. It's more of a revenue model. So always check that what people are asking to you. Okay, that hey, how many revenue streams that you have, which are the revenue streams, and then it's about hey, what is your revenue model for all the streams, and then eventually moving into the what is your business model around it. But I'm not going much deeper into it on the differentiation and all. But as Oliver mentioned in the session as well, that it's very very important to understand that hey, what is revenue? It's about hey, any money coming in is revenue. In any way is revenue, and any money going out is a cost. So it's a very simple fundamental as an entrepreneur that we always need to keep on asking that hey, what is the cost and what is the revenue? Okay, so what are you selling? Primary thing. What someone is paying for. This can be a common thing and a different thing as well. Who is paying and how much they are paying. So always need to check with this 4 questions that hey, what are you selling? What someone will pay for. So it's more about the product or a service or whatever it is gonna be. Who is paying for it and how much it is. Okay. Now also you need to understand that hey, are we a product or are we a service? Okay, and there is a lot of confusion going around it that hey, whether I'm a product or a service. Expand your understanding around 4 things. So if you say product as a product based product and called service as a service based service. Okay, so there are 2 more definitions coming in, that is product based service and a service based product. I'll give you an example. So if for example, if I'm training customized training for a lot of people, that's called service. But if I convert that customized training into a program and then I run a program and maybe I make a predefined video out of it, then I've created a service-based product. So service is training, but I convert it into a product, offline or online, it doesn't matter. Same way applies to a product-based service. So only thing which we need to remember as a startup is that mainstream business can do all 4. Startup needs to focus on product. So any way the product has scalability, service doesn't have a scalability on a different aspect of it. So either is to be a product-based product or it has to be a service-based product. Then and then you can scale. And there are few options that you can figure it out. Quick list: B2B, B2C, B2B2C, B2B2B. So I'm not speaking. Let me give you a quick example around it. That once as a business, if you are selling it to businesses where there are no consumer. So when you say B2C, B2C doesn't mean customer. It's a consumer. So somebody who is consuming your product. So if somebody who is consuming a product is an individual, then it's B2C. If it's an organization, then it's B2B. And if you are selling it through somebody in between, then it's B2B2C. And if you're selling it to business through somebody, then it's a B2B2B. Okay. And then if you are selling it to government, then it's B2G. And if you are straight, there is no in between, there is no interpretation. The manufacturer is straight selling to the customer, then it's D2C. So if you are selling it from your website, it's D2C. If you're selling it through Amazon, it's B2C. And there is something called C2B as well. Okay. So whenever you are ideating or whenever you're on the journey for a long run as well, 10 years as well, always try to see that in which are the ways you can build business model. I'll give you a quick example. So there are guys who are making motors for drones and they design it for B2B. And that's where the primary thought process came in. And there is a hack process happen. Okay. Before giving that example, let me put you into different perspective. There is a small hack that you should do, or we all should as an entrepreneur in our company. So make a list of all the business model that can possibly are there in the world. Okay, I wrote few and I can write 20-30 more in the chat as well. So, franchisee model, license model, freemium model, CCC model, multi-site platform model, subscription model, hidden revenue, razor and blade, affiliate, consulting, membership, user-generated content, e-com, aggregator, drop shipping, enterprise, blockchain. There are so many ways you can build the business model around it. So now as a startup or as a company, what we should do is they'd make a list of all, maybe like 60 ways of doing business. Okay. And then try to ideate every day for 1 hour or maybe 30 minutes in the team that, hey, if we don't have this option, we call it a gunpoint exercise. Okay. If somebody put a gun on your head and says that, hey, you have only a franchisee model to design, otherwise we'll kill you. Okay. So that's a gunpoint exercise. So sit and ideate that, hey, if we only have a franchisee model as an option to build a business, how we might price it, how we might take it, who might be the people who will pay for it. So if you list the 60 ways of business model and try to define your ways of doing business in all 60 ways, it's gonna be a rock solid exercise. And I really, really recommend that search how many business model are there. If there is a confusion, try to study about it as well. Make a list of it, maybe 50, 60, 100, go to any number you find. Okay. Oliver shared 27 models as well with you, and there are so many ways. List each one, try to see your business from all that angle. So what happens is that when we ideate limited, so we don't focus on everything. So we figure out that, hey, one model, two model, three model, and then we pick one, we try one, and then we go into the operational journey of a startup, and we don't even go back and talk about that, hey, this is the different way of business can be done. So always make a list of all the business model. I'm repeating, this is for the third time in last 1 minute. Make a list of all the business model, pick one, ideate one, and imagine that is the only option through which you can do the business. Then you will surprise from yourself the kind of creativity and the kind of new ways of doing business will come into your mind. And if you can discuss with your team and your mentor, nothing like it. Okay. Force yourself saying that, hey, this is the only way you can do it. Does it make sense? So for example, if somebody says that, hey, you need to get married to somebody, but you have to build a subscription model, right? It sounds funny, but if you'll sit for an hour, you'll figure out something that, hey, how you can survive in a marriage with a subscription model. Okay. I'm just giving a very weird and crazy example, but yeah, that's me. So that's a critical way. Now, next thing that every one of us need to understand, that always go and talk to a customer in line to whether they like the product, they like the solution, they would love to use it or not. But whenever you want to define the pricing, whenever you want to redesign the pricing, whenever you need to reintroduce your business model, always make your customer advisor. Don't make them customer, always make them advisor, and ask them that, hey, if you are my advisor, not customer, ignore being customer, if you are my advisor, what should be my MRP? And you will surprise from the kind of input that your probable customer might give. But if you remove them from a customer, they'll be the right advisor with you. And last thing is that always have a business model complexity. So that's the last point that I'm going to explain for next 1.5 minutes. Business model complexity zero is somebody who can understand your business model. Okay. So you are selling this glasses at maybe $100 and it's done. So it's easy to understand. Then somebody competitor will come and say that, hey, this is the glasses, I'll sell it at $91. And the price war happens. So price war always happens in business model complexity zero. There is, why I'm saying zero, because there is no complexity. It's easy to understand. There is a pen, it's a $5 pen, end of story. But always try to take your business model into business model complexity 1, 2, 3. I'll give you an example. So McDonald's business is what? They sell burgers, correct? Every one of us knows that they sell food, but no. So they are also one of the world's largest toy selling company, right? So the moment you have a business model, I'll give you a quick example. I might take 30 seconds more. We just did a trial by teaching people smartphones. Okay, so a lot of everybody in the survey said that people will not pay for teaching smartphone. So foolish things, and every house has an expert and all. But then after doing a very deepening survey, we realized that people are ready to learn, people are ready to pay. So we did an experiment. People pay $15 for a quick workshop, $15, $20 in India, good money. And then we decided that how we can make a business model out of it. So I told my team, gunpoint exercise, that if I want to make $200 out of it per person, How can I make it? You can't change the program. You can't change the number of hours. You can't change the batch. You can't change anything, and you need to reach to $200. So we came up with a solution stating that, hey, we are using different platforms. For example, e-commerce, we have a habit of using something. For taxi, we have habits of using X company, Y company, despite all are good. So it's about behavior rewiring. Okay. So if I train somebody who is using smartphone for the first time, or maybe early ones, not expert, and I give them a triggered behavior. So for example, if for taxi, there is an option of Uber and Grab, I'll teach them Uber, but I'll help them download both. And I'll ask Uber that, hey, Uber, are you ready to give me $10, $20 per person or not? If Uber will pay me, I'll teach Uber. If Grab will pay me, I'll use Grab. Same way goes to e-commerce platform, same way go to recharge platform, same way go to movie ticket booking platforms. There are so many platforms that anyway gonna be there for flight booking, for hotel booking. I'll teach who pays me to teach that platform. And there is a very less chances when nobody new move to different platform. So then it's a hack. This is called business model complexity 1, where different platforms is paying me $20-$30 per person to predefine the behavior of using that platform. Make sense? Are you understanding it? I'm closing with it. But always try to go beyond business model complexity 0. Go for 1, go for much deeper, which people cannot understand. Go for 3, much people that people cannot understand. So in this smartphone example with the business model complexity 1, I charge $20, but I end up making $200. When my competitor comes, they'll charge $10, but eventually to kick them out, I'll say that, hey, give me $20, and if you complete the program, I'll give you $40 back. And still I'm making $160. And my competitor will say that, hey, you are running in losses and he's idiot and they are crazy and they are burning money and all. But eventually they'll not understand that I am having a business model complexity 1. Okay, that's it for it. Last sentence as a quote: never sell your product, help your customer to buy your product.